Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about something I've gotten a lot of questions about, and that is being vegetarian in Japan. But before I start talking about it, I know that can be contentious for some people, so please just stay nice. Be nice. I don't like talking about it for that reason. I'm not here to say anything about your lifestyle choices, so... Okay, so here we go. Being vegetarian in Japan. In a few words, sum it up. It's lame being vegetarian in Japan. It's hard. People don't know what vegetarian is. And I know you're thinking, what? But some Japanese food is obviously vegetarian. No, it's not actually. I mean, yeah, vegetarian sushi that you get overseas, that is vegetarian. Here, it's not the same kind of sushi that you might get in New Zealand or America or Australia. There are vegetarian types of sushi, but mostly it's fish sushi, just all fish sushi. And that's the same with most other Japanese food. There's always going to be fish in it, almost always. And it's going to be in the soup stock especially. So you have to be extremely careful. So it depends on how strict you are, but it's just really hard. So that's the first thing, is that everything has fish or meat in it. I'm not just talking about soups, I'm talking about everything. If you go to the supermarket and you look at the ingredients on the potato chips or the salad dressing, usually there's chicken or meat or something you can't eat in them. And the other thing is, Japanese people don't understand vegetarianism, which is really tough. The third thing is, it's going to affect your social life, because you know, work-related gatherings, they're all to do with food, you know? What happened to me when I first got here was I was living in a small town and no one invited me anywhere, and it was really super lonely and depressing. And part of the reason was probably because they thought, oh, she can't eat it, so what's the point? And when I did get invited places, I had to sit there having nothing, you know, it's just meat. I remember having to go to like a yakiniku and watch them fry meat for a few hours, you know? And that's fine. I respect what people want to eat, but for me that's, you know, it's not easy. If you do want to come here and be vegetarian, learn a lot of kanji, because you're going to have to read ingredients. Like I'm sure you're used to anyway, but you're going to have to be able to read them in Japanese, and that can be a real learning curve. Restaurants, you're going to need to be able to ask them and be very specific, because since they don't understand vegetarian, if you say I'm vegetarian, they'll think, oh, so, you know, squid is okay, octopus is okay, you know, anything like that, chicken is okay. They don't understand it, like, and there's nothing against Japanese people, that's completely just, it's a part of Japanese society. That vegetarianism is not a part of Japanese society. It's just not a thing. And I think it might have something to do with Confucianism. I've heard this theory before, that a balanced meal needs to have some meat in it. Well, it's certainly the way Japanese companies and, you know, Japanese restaurants see things, and ready meals, everything has at least a little bit of meat or fish in it. Almost everything. So you're going to be doing a lot of cooking, and if you're like me and you don't really like cooking, that's going to suck. There are a few restaurants that have vegetarian options, but they're mainly in big cities, or in they're not going to be in small towns, and there aren't going to be many options, so you're going to have to be okay with eating the same thing a lot. In Tokyo, of course, it's a lot easier, and that's one of the reasons I moved here, because it was so hard in a small town. And yeah, eventually I found, you know, some options, but it's really tough. If you're okay with eating fish, you'll be fine. If you're just coming here for a holiday, I'm sure you'll be fine. Your business life can be affected. Your just day-to-day life, like walking into a convenience store and supermarket, was the biggest, most horrible culture shock I got, was not being able to find anything to eat, and it just made me so frustrated for like the first 3 months or so. It's just so tough. I mean, if you're willing to turn a blind eye, if you don't mind having like a little bit of this and that and everything, then I guess you'll be fine. But if you, I think it depends on you. It does get easier, but it never really gets easier. I think there's so much more I could really say about this, but it's up to you now. Just from me to you. Like working in Japan, although in a completely different way, you know, I don't really recommend it. But if you really love Japan and you really love being vegetarian, then it's possible. Just extremely difficult. It is possible. You can do it. And yeah, I've just talked for like 8 minutes, so yeah. See you tomorrow. Mata ashita!